Yeah, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a bit of a news roundup, and I think the biggest news for you guys here is going to be that it looks as if the open beta for Battlefield 6 actually could be right around the corner. We've also got some new leaks out of Battlefield Labs showing some new and improved jet gameplay, in fact. And then DICE have also responded to some of the class system controversy. Of course, yesterday I made a video detailing that it looks as though they aren't going to budge on their current state of affairs where, you know, they're just going to go with this open class system. And one of the community managers has come in to try to sort of temper the community a little bit. So without further ado, let's just jump into everything here in the video. Don't forget, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, get subscribed. I'm going to be covering everything Battlefield 6 going into the future. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitch as well, where you can catch a live stream or two. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support. Really appreciate it. So yesterday, DICE put out a blog post called The Class System Part 2, as most of you will know at this point. And they didn't really come out and specifically say that they are going to continue with this open class system, but it was heavily suggested. Instead, they spent most of the time in that blog post detailing the various systems in the game that are going to bring class identity in, such as synergy weapons, synergy gadgets, the new training system. But they also didn't outright come out and just say, guys, we are leaving the class system open and that's the way it's gonna be. However, global community manager Kevin Johnson, aka Total FPS, he left this reply over on Reddit because, as you can imagine, the conversation there has really been kicking off. And he says, "Hey all, I just wanted to jump in here and state that the team is actively reading. I will be around to try and respond to things as much as we can with the things that we have covered here. I just want to reiterate, though, that this is Battlefield Labs and it is a collaborative measure between development and community, where we strike the balance of feedback, data, and experience, but also the design intention of systems and the future of Battlefield 2. Things are never truly final until we say they are, and constructive discourse is always encouraged. I hope that some of the things written in this recent community update resonate well with you, and if it doesn't, then that is also fair too. Thanks for your patience on the time taken with this one. Let's keep chatting, and we appreciate you taking a moment to read. Peace out for now." So I feel like what he's saying here is, hey, in this blog post, what we wanted to do is push through some of the ways that we're balancing the class system in Battlefield 6, but it's also okay if you don't agree with this, and like, we are still listening to the feedback. The problem is, I think the message they give across with this is that they aren't listening to feedback, and the community are under the impression that Battlefield Labs is all about building the game with the community. And so I think when we see overwhelming feedback from the community that we want to have a locked class system, and then we don't see DICE acting on that or even acknowledging that, it brings a lot of worries. There's a lot of people out there saying that this is just the vocal minority voicing their opinion online, but honestly, I think that is just a load of rubbish. I think the people posting online, sure, it may be less than 1% of the entire Battlefield player base, but I think to say that that small slice doesn't represent an overall greater picture of the opinions when it comes to locked versus open class systems is just silly. Personally, I would love to see DICE really put their money where their mouth is and say, okay, if we're going to be testing things, let's test out having a locked class system. I think that would be fair, and likewise, if they have some overwhelming collection of data that shows something to the contrary, that people actually want to have an open class system, maybe stuff from Battlefield 2042 or from Labs and from you know, comparing that to past games, then why don't they just show us that information? I really think they need to make a decision one way or the other. Like, they need to come out and just say, guys, we're open to having a closed class system, and we're going to test that out, and we're going to let you know. Or, it's not going to happen, the class system will remain open, but here are the reasons why, here's the data behind it, and then the whole community can just move on from that conversation. I've said this time and time again, personally, gameplay-wise, it doesn't matter to me all that much, but I think it is going to matter in the overall perception of the game, especially when it comes to negative reviews on Steam on day one. All I know is this: Battlefield 2042 had an open weapon system, and whenever I go back to older games in the franchise, like Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5, that have these incredibly locked down class systems, I don't miss the open system at all. I do not find myself saying, oh, I wish I was playing Battlefield 2042 right now. The open system is just so much better, and I think deep down that's why I know that it's not going to make this huge difference to the Battlefield experience that I think DICE and a lot of people think it will. But it obviously is kind of souring community sentiment around the game. As always, I'd like to know what you guys think on that topic, so leave your thoughts down below, but let's continue with the video first. So onto some more optimistic things around the game. There have been a couple of leaks out of the latest test, although definitely not as much as we would normally see. Once again, they've been from the Chinese client, and they've been posted on Bilibili and then cross-posted over to Reddit. And this time it looks as though they were playing Conquest on at least the capstone map. So we got some really nice jet gameplay here. The jet gameplay I've seen from past leaks has been pretty bare bones. The HUD was completely broken, and I'm happy to be able to report that the HUD now looks to be totally fixed. So it sort of looks very similar to the way it looks in Battlefield 3 and 4. You've got, you know, this HUD with these illuminated green lines like you see in modern fighter jets. Visibility is far better now in first-person mode. I think the jets even look as though they're slightly more responsive, although of course that is kind of difficult to say without actually trying myself. And then one of the major takeaways for me is that the fighter jets now seem to be equipped with dumbfire bombs. So think Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, the way you get this little circle reticle in the third-person mode, that is exactly what we're seeing here. It looks like you get 2 bombs, and then either they have to replenish or you have to fly over a resupply station to manually replenish them there. He did get a few kills with these bombs, so they do seem to be somewhat powerful. He didn't get any like 5 pieces or anything crazy like you'd maybe see with a kerosene bomb on the Draugr, so I think they seem to be in a pretty good place. But outside of the bombs, he also has like some sort of sidewinder, like AA missiles equipped, and then the cannons as well. So it seems like this particular jet is going to have like a multi-role function. Outside of that, there wasn't really anything too crazy or new that I noticed in the leaks. Like I said, there weren't too many leaks, and this one was just purely like jet gameplay, so maybe there'll be some more that'll surface here. But I have seen, you know, a couple of infantry, and it pretty much just looked like the same experience that we've seen from the last couple of tests, so that would indicate to me that they haven't changed anything big here, and they're probably, you know, just working on really dialing in the game. And that really segues us nicely into the next section of the video, and could be the reason behind that is that Battlefield 6's open beta may be right around the corner. So over on Insider Gaming, they just posted a report saying that information regarding the Battlefield 6 open beta has emerged from the 1BF Telegram group, which is known for its data mines related to Battlefield Labs. The group discovered that the phrase Battlefield 6 Open Beta was added in the latest client update for Battlefield Labs. While no further details were provided, players are speculating that a major open beta test may be in development. However, it's important to note that this information comes from a data mine and not from an actual source, so it should be treated with caution. So I think this is a great idea if this is indeed what they're going to do. This will give everybody who wants to the opportunity to try before they ultimately buy, get their hands on the game, because, you know, I think looking at leaks probably, well, almost certainly just doesn't do it justice. There is a rumor, of course, that the game is going to be revealed on the 29th of July, according to like some content creator. He leaked that there was some events taking place in, I believe it was Los Angeles, on the 29th of July until the 31st, so it could well be that that is the case. Then again, as time does go on, I'm not really expecting DICE and EA to launch the game this year. I think it's looking more and more likely that we're going to see a 2026 release, and honestly I think that is the correct decision. If they did decide to go ahead and launch it in October or November, that would be cause for worry because it just doesn't really look quite ready yet. But this is very exciting stuff. I think this could actually be like a true open beta, so in the sense that, you know, the alpha is clearly an unfinished product. I think the open beta that they give out could be an unfinished product as well, whereas, you know, in general, what we see with games these days, especially AAA games, is that an open beta isn't really an unfinished product. It's pretty much what you're going to get. It's a marketing beta. It's a chance for you to get your hands on the game and decide, do I want to buy it or not? So is that what we're going to see out of Battlefield 6? I don't know. I guess time will tell, but very exciting stuff indeed. What do you think about this whole class system thing? Which side of the camp are you on? Do you want open weapons? Do you want locked weapons? Like I've said before, for me, it doesn't really matter, like, all that much gameplay-wise. I think it'll just be something that will maybe almost blow over, and, you know, if you want to criticize me for saying that, fair enough. The main issue with this is simply the controversy that this is creating around the game. You know, it's like human nature. You can do 10 things right, but if you do one thing wrong, people are only going to remember that one wrong thing, right? So whilst they may have taken a lot of steps in a positive direction to make the game more like Battlefield 3 and 4, and people are generally happy, this one thing I feel like is sort of starting to overshadow all of the good stuff a little bit, and I just sincerely hope that it's not going to carry through onto release day. But let's keep our chins up, eh? As always, if you guys enjoyed the video here on the channel, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.